Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and I've got another Gizmo Sunday. Today's Gizmo Sunday is the Kontakt player instrument. Here I'm running it in the full version of Kontakt 8, but there it is, Fever Dreams by vocalist and viola da gambist Ari Mason. She's a classical singer whose resume includes contributions to video game scores, cinematic scores. She's a terrific concert singer, and she's got this fascinating vocal library. Well, let's take a look at it today. Well, Ari says Fever Dreams is an extensive, singular, and deeply human vocal sample library, and really it's all vocals, right? Morphing textures, ethereal whispers, chants, pitched and non-pitched, rhythmic, non-rhythmic vocal samples. Really just fascinating stuff in that regard. Well, it downloads at about 8 gigs and works with the free Kontakt player. I'm using it, as I said, in the full version of Kontakt 8 here. Over 100 pitched, unpitched, rhythmic, sustained patches. The rhythmic patches are tempo synced, super useful. 2 recorded velocities, triple tracked. It's got a beautiful GUI, doesn't it? We'll take a look at it as we play. We've got some breathing patterns and vocal percussion patterns. Chants, which include sort of sung patterns that loop. And then some kind of almost synthesized sounds, legato, key switch patches, things like that. Well, let's just play around with it a little bit and see what we get. Well, you've been staring at this GUI, and just quickly, clearly, we've got 2 sources, source A and source B. Here, both of them are turned on, and you can see down below a blue key area and a green key area. Well, both of those are rhythmic, and they're tempo synced to my DAW. Well, you get the idea. Over here on the left, we've got tons of presets, and they're organized. Ooh, look at them all. Chants and then hums, rhythmic and erratic patches, colorful sustains, whispers, shouts, and they're organized in banks. I think that's kind of the way to deal with it. In fact, for me, I think it's probably worth starting with the vocal percussion sounds, and I'm just going to pop this over here, and we'll work with this one here. So we've got clicking rhythms on source A and pseudo-conical on source B. Now, I've assigned a slider to the volume here, intensity. It's really just the mod wheel. And I think it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to assign a slider to the voice blend. So now I can move between clicking rhythms and that conical sound. So well, along with these rhythms, we've got plenty of chants. Look at all these chant patterns. And we don't really have time to go through all of them, do we? But we just take a look at 1 or 2 of them. So this is just chant pattern 1, and there's only 1 sound built in here. And as I said, syncs with your basic tempo. And you can hear it restarts as I restart the key. So we can start in unison and then get out of sync if we'd like. Some of the patterns are legato. Now, aren't you curious what that means? Ah, I see. So it stays synced and honestly gorgeous, right?
C'era tu mi naga musico futuro purco e tari mute chana buto kate fecilo de fera c'era tu mi naga musico.
As I change notes, the expression of the chant remains steady. This is great programming and honestly just sounds really beautiful as well. It's a real treat for me. I wonder what they're saying. I have no idea. We've got basic vowels in the chant world as well. And we could combine it, if we'd like, with clicking rhythms over here. And I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but look what happens when I click there. I've got a choice of collections of sounds here. So we've been talking about chants, so we can go over here and say, oh, what do I want to go with that? Maybe one of these things, or maybe one of these. I don't know. All right. And you can see down here how these overlap. And if I want them to overlap completely, I can move it down so that everything's in the middle. And that breath rhythm, so beautiful. I mean, this is definitely the kind of instrument that draws me in and makes me want to play around a little bit more. With all of these sounds, we have basic attack and release controls, and that's useful. I think they're programmed nicely right out of the box. One might wish for pan controls or maybe some synthesizer type controls like filters or things like that on these individual sources. But, for the time being, you're not going to catch me complaining. The whole time I've been working, I've been staring deep into Ari's eyes, and she's got me hypnotized. I'm fully convinced this is great. Any vocal library is going to be judged a lot of the time on its pads, and we've got just tons and tons of them, right? Some of them are quite complicated sounding. Here's the human sound bath. The overtones are wonderful. And then over here, Mother Earth for a little more richness. I don't have much reverb on this. This would sound great in a lot of reverb, wouldn't it? There are a bunch of sort of erratic tremolo sounds, and I think these have some utility, although I don't know if I could exactly put my finger on how I'd want to use it right away. So I'm just back to these breathing patterns because they're so beautiful. Beautifully recorded, really interesting sounds. I wonder if we added, say, one of these whispers into it and just lay them one on top of the other. Oh, excuse me, I'm getting a little hot here. Well, when you get a library from a unique artist like Ari Mason is, I don't think we'd expect something that's meat and potatoes, right? All these patches have a particular orientation, a kind of a special individual artist color. And that's what you are hoping for when you bring in an artist to contribute to your work, right? Now, not all of us can get a first call LA cinematic and scoring vocalist into our tracks, and this is a very generous offering as a contact instrument for us. I particularly like the breaths and rhythmic elements. The erratic stuff, the erratic tremolo, et cetera, things like that are great. What is this going to do for you? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it's going to do for me exactly either. I'm fascinated by it. I'm grateful for the opportunity to dig into it and play around with it a little bit. Ari's mentioned that there's a Black Friday sale coming up, so this review is kind of coming at a good time. I expect the price to go down a little bit. I'll drop a link to the website in the description. Well, I hope this has been useful. Like and subscribe, ding the bell to be notified when I do my videos, and I'll see you next time.